Welcome back, moms and dads. Today we are covering probably the hottest topic that comes through my coaching business. How the heck do we discipline our children with ADHD? My name is Danielle Kelly. I'm a parent coach. I help parents of children newly diagnosed with ADHD find the patience and understanding to get our lives back. So, how do we discipline our children with ADHD? First, we need to understand some statistics that may put things into perspective for you. Did you know that 9% of children ages 2 to 17 have been diagnosed with ADHD? That's around 6 million kids. So that's 6 million children out there who do not respond to standard disciplinary practices. So things that may have worked for your other children, you've already found don't work in this arena. But luckily for you, there are quite a few things that you can do to get your lives back. First up is clear, consistent rules. This is a huge foundation of where you're going to need to start. I was working with a client a few months back, and she told me that around 7:30 every day, she was exhausted, right? Raising children with ADHD can be exhausting. They have all this boundless energy, but poor old mom and dad do not. So she told me that around 7:30 every evening, she was out. She was done. She checked out. Not only did she check out, but her daughter knew she was checking out. So that means that around 7:35 every day, her daughter knew everything she had asked for earlier in the day that was a no would probably be a yes. And I don't need to tell you how detrimental that can be, not only to your child, but to your household, right? If mom caves at 7:35 every day, everything that she said before that really doesn't matter. We are not going to do that. You need to be the lighthouse in your child's hurricane. You need to be tried and true. Mom is going to stand on this, whatever she says, all day long. And that takes a lot of your energy. That is not an easy ask. But if not, then like I said from my previous example, every day around a certain time, your child is going to know, I've asked enough, I've worn her down, now I can get my way. We do not want to do that. So what do? We give clear instructions, clear rules, so that they always know what is expected. And this can be something as simple as most parents say things like, be good or clean your room. Instead of saying be good, we can say, now let's remember to say please and thank you and keep our hands to ourselves. Or instead of clean your room, first up, we're going to make our bed. Next, let's pick up all these toys off of the floor. Let them know exactly what is expected so that they can understand. Vague, very broad instructions are not going to work with this child. Next up is positive reinforcement. And I know that many parents feel like they don't want to bribe their child to do the things that they need them to do or to behave. But in this case, it's actually required. Most children's brains work off of a fear-based or a disappointment-based brain system. So they know I have to do this so that I don't get in trouble, or I need to do this so that I don't disappoint mom and dad. Now, I'm not saying that's a good model. I'm just saying that's how most children's brains work. Your child's brain works off of positive reinforcement and dopamine because your child has a reward brain base. So maybe all children, but I'm only talking about ours today. But for our children, we should let them know what they're doing good. And whenever you catch them doing something that you want more of and you praise that, their brain is going to flood them with those feel-good emotions, that dopamine, that warm hug on the inside. They're going to remember that. That's going to trigger them and say, oh, mom liked that, so I'm going to do more of that. Now, some people out there in the ADHD world say that this is manipulation. All parents are a little manipulative, right? Our goal and our whole purpose is to guide and get them to be the best people that they can be. So in this case, their brains work off of the reward system. So that's what I'm out here doing. You can use sticker charts if that works for you. You can use a treat that they don't often get. Since they have ADHD, I'm pretty sure you will find that they have hyper-focused in on one thing that they really, really love at the moment. Reward them with that. Whatever works for you. Let them know they're doing good. Train, praise the behavior, reward it. You won't have to reward that behavior forever. You can slowly slack off once it's trained, because you're probably going to find something in the very near future that you need to start working on instead. Number 3 on the list is break things down into small, manageable chunks. And before I get into what you need to do, I want to tell you why. So as you know, children with ADHD often have a short attention span, and I like to use the reference of something shiny. So when clients come to me and they're like, I gave my child a whole list of things to do and they can't get past 1, 2, or 3 things. That is true, and this is why. In that first instruction, there's nothing shiny for them. In the second instruction, there's also nothing shiny for them. So you will be very lucky if they make it to number 3, because something shiny is going to appear somewhere else. And I know that's really silly, but that is literally how their brains work. They're constantly moving fast, looking for something interesting in the world, and mom and dad's instructions of clean your room, not that interesting, dude. So we have to break it down into small, manageable chunks that they can understand and actually maintain and accomplish. And this is how you're going to do it. Step 1, you're going to put the thing that you want done most importantly. This could be pick up all the toys off of the floor. Step number 2 is your second priority request. Make your bed. Step number 3, by now you know, may or may not get done without you asking and checking in. So if it's a huge request, move it on up to number 1. But number 3 could be something like put your clothes in the dirty clothes basket. Let them know this is what we're going to do. Visual schedules will be your best friend until they go to college. Let them know what's expected and how, so that they can see that and check it off with a picture of exactly what they're to do. Will be very beneficial. But you need to keep in mind that they're doing the best that they can. And if we get those 3 things done, take that win. Celebrate all small wins. Step 4, use timeouts wisely. And this is why. If you have a child with ADHD, you need to reprimand immediately after the poor choice, immediately after whatever they have done, because your child lives in the now. They are not focused on what happened an hour ago. So if you try to reprimand them for something that happened at school that day, they do not understand that consequence. So if your child needs a timeout, make it short, keep it simple, keep it very close to the indiscretion, and keep it, like I said, super simple. Let them know, hey, this is what happened, this is the consequence. In my household, we actually stopped doing timeouts, and this is super woo-woo, so I'm not asking you to do this. I actually read a report that said whenever we send our children away for their big emotions, it's letting them know that mom does not accept that emotion. I personally do not want to parent that way, because emotions are all natural. They let us know that something's wrong. So what we do is a time in. I never thought I would be here, but here I am. Time in is when we cool off together, because let's be real, if your child is teed off, mom is also probably upset, right? So we sit together until one of us can calmly, respectfully, and lovingly say what's wrong. Some days we sit. Some days we sit. I'll take that win too. At least we didn't say all of the hurtful things that was flowing through our mind, and he calmed down and we calmed down together. So some days we sit, and that's okay too. Again, that's super woo-woo on my spectrum. To me, it's definitely not how I was raised. So I'm not asking you to do that. But if you do choose to do timeouts, keep them short, concise. Your child's brain works very quickly. So a couple of minutes is all they're going to need to cool off and move on to the next thing shiny. Tip number 5 is the hardest one on this list. You have to stay calm. Your child does not have the tools to self-regulate, and they have no control over their emotions. And that is not me just throwing things out there. ADHD actually hijacks the executive functions that would allow them to do that. So they have not built up those skills yet. So if mom and dad are out here reciprocating this anger, they will know that that is normal and that is not normal. We want to stay calm to show them what is possible so that they can work through their emotions and say, okay, I'm going to work toward being calm like mom. This is not easy, but probably the second most important thing on this list. Being clear and consistent is number one. But you have to maintain your calm. Please be the lighthouse in the hurricane. Mom needs to be predictable because they are going to be so spontaneous. Tip number 6 is physical activity. Physical activity is a game changer for children with ADHD. That is usually one of the top questions that I ask whenever parents come to me as a coaching client saying, I cannot handle my ADHD child, help me. Do you have a good chunk of physical activity during their day? If they say no, that is step 1. They have endless, boundless energy. If they're not going to get that out, if they're not having the opportunity to get that out during the day, of course they're going to be driving you crazy. When my son was little, we had the very fortunate situation to where we could have a trampoline downstairs in our playroom, and we used that thing all the time. Or, like a little jungle gym. Or it could be something simple, and you can set up an obstacle course in a hallway. There's many videos on there on YouTube about how to do that. It will change your relationship with your child. And I can give you one example of how it made my life easier. When my son was smaller, we would always go to physicals, yearly check-ins, and his pediatrician would say, how does he sleep? And I was like, he sleeps fine. Why do you keep asking me that every year? And he said that typically children with ADHD have a very hard time sleeping. But because my son was so active and so on the go all day long, he can go to sleep very quickly at night and stay asleep for 10 hours. And that has not changed a lot over the last 9 years. He is 9 now, and he is active from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. But once he is down, he is down. Last tip, number 7, seek professional help. Definitely check in with your pediatrician, therapist, counselors, parent coaches who have been there and done that. Anyone who can guide you will be helpful to you along the way. Me, myself, and I completed behavioral parent therapy a couple of years ago to train me how to parent my child with ADHD. It is a game changer. Almost the whole course was about discipline. Because let's be real, you don't need help with the easy stuff, right? With guiding them through the challenges. And it's very difficult when, like I said, you may have more children and the other ones were, easy peasy. They fell in line with all of our parental guidelines. But this child here, you're going to need all the help you can get with. And I would love to help you with that. If you need help, my calendar is always in the bio. If any of this has been helpful to you, please like and subscribe. Again, I have been an ADHD parent for 9 years now, but I have been through 6 years of training. And on this channel, I share all of that with you because we need it, right? You need all the help you can get. I need all the help that I can get. So if you have any tips for me that was not on this list, drop them in the comments. I will see you back here soon for some more tips from my life. Good luck, guys.